Hello and welcome everyone, welcome back to the OVRC. I am joined once again by Owen.
Hello everyone.
And you join us for round 5 of season 6 of the GT3 series. We are at a bit of a damp Suzuka.
A little bit damp, you could say.
As the end of practice. Currently what's going on. Do you want to quickly run through the championship standings before we head to qualifying?
Yes, so leading the championship right now is also Alila with 92 points, followed by Mike Stoffmill with 80 points. In third is Ryan Mawson with 62 points, closely followed by John Dalton with 60 points. And then in fifth we have Thomas Jensen with 48 points. Leading the team's championship right now is Large Boy Racing with 95 points, closely followed by Panda Racing AMG with 92 points in second. And then we have W&D Motorsports in third with 89 points. In fourth we have Virtual Drives by TX3 with 80 points, and in fifth we have Panda Racing GSR with 70 points. And as always, if you want to see the full standings, you can do so at the link in the description.
Thank you for that. So, end of practice right now. A few more people currently on a lap. Sam Williams currently out on track, doing the last practice lap. Moving across the line. And that will be the end of practice and head into qualifying. First car out on track will be Ryan Mawson. Going to venture out on the wet track, which will not be improving. It'll stay wet. That track is eternally wet. There is no escape. So everyone somewhat heads out on track. Currently 11 cars in the session. We might see a few more, might not, depends obviously on a few things. Obviously track is a lot trickier than normally would be.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see if people can get a decent lap in with these conditions. Certainly going to make things very tricky. As we can see, Ryan Mawson running wide there. But only an out lap so far, so that's not a big deal.
Yeah, track is not an easy one for these conditions. Suzuka normally fast flowing, so obviously when it's wet, you less bit traction, less grip, so it will be tricky as well. 130R, another corner, which will be tricky as well. As Ryan Mawson now head through the final chicane and start a timed lap.
Let's go on board with him.
Yep. So he heads down the start-finish straight towards first corner. Tap on the brake, jabbing the throttle here, getting through the corner, then head up towards the snake with the S's. It's cut a bit. It's very tricky. So counter steering a lot going through these S's. We'll let the car coast a lot. Don't really want to drag the brakes too much in these conditions. Up through Dunlop. Lots of traction control from the looks of things as well. You head into the Degners, two quick right-handers over the curb. There's a bit wide. I think it might have invalidated his lap, but he keeps going through the second Degner. Up towards the hairpin. Hard braking zone this. Got nice and tight to the apex and power out. And normally this next part is all flat through 200R. Let's see if it's flat at all in these conditions. Rolling out very wide there. Then on the brakes for spoon curve. Lots of steering lock in. Down the forest, we're hit the car round. Rolls wide on the exit curb. Then on the long back straight over the bridge to 130R. Hold the brake down, hit the curb, power out. Very fast corner. On the brakes now as you head into the chicane. Right then left. And flat out right hand onto the start finish straight. Now Ramos crossing finishing this time, but obviously it's invalid as he cut the track earlier, so no time on the board yet. Jansen only on track. We'll set the first time of 2 minute 12.6. Nygaard next quickest. The first few times in the next car across the line will be number 6 Timothy Glenning in the Audi. He crossed the line to P5, 1.6 seconds off Jansen's time.
Next up will be O'Lila.
If he's on an invalid lap right now, I think he must have went off the track at some point. Now look at the deltas. I believe we're going to see quite a lot of fluctuation in the deltas. I don't think people will be setting their fast laps very quickly. You know how tricky it is to keep consistent time around here. You might see some people go from improving a lot to losing all the lap in a couple of corners. Olsen now heads out of Spoon.
Olsen not improving. We've seen improvements for some other cars though. Nygaard, Brunier, Valkenstein and Gladdening are improving.
Jansen's also in an invalid lap. Sam Williams is though on a timed lap.
As Mawson crosses the line but does not improve and has still not set a valid lap.
Sam Williams
goes up to 6th.
2:14.8. Next car to cross the valid time will be Nygaard right now. Currently 7 tenths up. And we'll go into pole position. Provisional pole. They're currently on a time. So their first time of the session, a bad time anyway.
And he goes second. Thomas Jensen on a half a second improvement so far. Nygaard also improving. as are Olila, Bernier and Falkenstein and Williams.
Few improvements still on track right now. Because we have set times. Mawson heads through the chicane. Will this time be a valid one? Out to find out as he crosses the line. And he does set a valid time of exactly the same as Nygaard's time. Bang on! 2 minute 12.067.
Thomas Jensen about to cross the line, and he moves up to P1.
Nygaard also improves as well, so they both move further up, extend the gap. Brony across the line improves as well, so still a few more improvements out there. There's 5 minutes left in the session, so plenty of time still. At least you can get out and possibly do 2 laps if you leave the pit lane now. So 2 people get to set a time of James Butler and Gordon Daly.
Yep, Butler getting close to the end now. Don't know if he's on a valid lap right now though. And he is, so he moves up to 9th position as Benjamin Corbell crosses the line and does not improve. Looks like that was an invalid lap for him. Mawson getting close to the end, but he is not improving right now. What is improving is Sam Williams.
Lost a bit in the final chicane then, but he's still on an improvement right now. He will move up to P7.
As we are now with Olila, who is currently 4 tenths up.
The day has not yet gone on the track as of now. They're still in the pit lane.
And Olila moves up to 1st position.
Well, Jansen's about to start a timed lap. He's got 2 more, possibly. If he can still keep going around. There's still more improvements on the board. Sebastian's currently improving. Mawson's improving. Jansen, Lila. James Butler at the back is also in a small improvement right now.
Yep, Corbell also about to get a better lap in. And he moves up to 7th position.
Lila's gone off the track and has returned to the pit lane, so I don't think they'll be able to set another time.
Nope, not enough time for an outlap now. As Mawson is about to set a small improvement. And stays fourth. Sebastian Brunier is not improving anymore. So he just ran a little wide there.
Ross Janssen on a lap, and it's a tiny little improvement right now, but that's all he realistically needs to get pole. So heading through Spoon. .18 up right now. Sebastian Brunier also an improvement.
So on board with Janssen. So he gets through the last few corners to potentially take P1. 2 tenths up as he heads around the final corner.
Looking like you will take pole. Across the line, and does for a 2:11.5. On us right now is really looking to be able to challenge him. There's 5 seconds. Well, the checkered flag will be waving, so Butler, by the time he crosses the line, will receive the checkered. Basson is stopped on track. Butler across the line does improve, but does not gain any positions.
Sam Williams still trying to improve, but he might still be able to. He's right on the cusp of improving right now. Let's see if maybe he can make something up through the last few corners.
Bit of traction loss on the exit there, and might be losing a bit of time now.
Yep, looks like this will not be an improvement for him.
A tenth off his fastest.
And that is it for qualifying.
The Challenge Janssen on pole position with Lila lining up alongside him. And Nygaard rounding off the top 3. Very good result for the large boy racing team as compared to the small boy racing team. People, only very, very old AVRC members will understand that. As we're about to head into a 1 hour of wet Suzuka racing. Very interested to see how everything will go. Obviously, we have a few people missing today for various reasons. Some technical, some health related. So,
yep, it's a bit a shame, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Alright, there is some rain in this session, so watch out for slippery curves and remember to brake earlier.
So everyone lines up on the grid. 11 cars will start. Let's see how many will last till the end. So the weather so far is looking to stay wet. It might get even wetter as the session goes on, according to the 30-minute prediction. Temperature staying the same. It's just going to be wet. There's nothing more to say about the weather, track conditions. It's just going to be wet. I like that. Though currently, right now, given where those championship rivals are and not competing, has a good chance of taking the championship fairly early on, given how he's been performing, which will be his second title if he does manage to win this. But obviously, there's not going to happen. It is very, very damp. He could easily end up off the track and be at the back, but obviously, you know, it won't be the end of the world. He'll still score points as long as he finishes. As people make any last-second adjustments to the setup. And make sure to put the correct tyres on. That'd be a good idea. put any wets on. But don't put dries on. And it's definitely not the right weather for that. I think this is the first time I've seen Thomas Janssen at the front of the grid for quite a while, actually. Obviously, taking a bit of a break from sim racing over the last few seasons. Good to see him back. And at the pointy end once again, as the 30-second warning will go out.
Yeah, it's a shame his old rival Stoffmill can't be here today due to ACC being a very stable game.
Yep,
that always works.
Yep. That's the best part about not being officially tied to any sim. We can just call it out for being stupid at times. Like, why does it just one day work and the next day doesn't? I don't know. As Thomas Janssen gets underway, he starts rolling from his grid spot, and the rest of the field will follow. So the current standing order at the start of the race will be, so row 1 will be Thomas Janssen and Alila, Nygaard and Mawson row 2, Brunier, Falkenstein row 3, Cabal Williams row 4, Glenning and Butler row 5, and Jordan Daly on his own in the row 6. Again, a smaller grid than we have had over the course of the season, but obviously we know a few people dropped out, which has sort of reduced it a bit, unfortunately. But we can't help it. At the end of the day, it's a for fun race league. Doesn't really matter. We're not giving money out for winning. If we did, we'd probably have a lot more entries. Also, a lot more drama, unfortunately, happens when you start putting money on the line.
Yeah, let's not do that.
We'll win 1 free iRacing gift card. Not even using iRacing. It doesn't make any sense. So all cars are away, heading into the first of the Degners. Moving some stuff around the screen. See what's going on. There you go. Right, I'm set up. Prepared. Do you have any predictions though when you're gonna make right now at this stage, or you're gonna play it safe and not make? You haven't really made any predictions this season. We haven't. It's been too hard to call.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a good long race between Janssen and Olila. But of course, this is a wet race, which means it's very easy to make a mistake, and consistency is going to be very important.
Exactly. Nygaard's been strong during this sessions as well. Let's see if he can do anything this time. Mawson's also involved in the top 4. So this sort of top 4 have been quite strong. I think after the last race, you can't really call it. After the last race, especially when everyone attempted to lose the race at various points. Until basically the last lap, where Elia nearly threw it off the road, managed to keep going, but as they head towards 130R, and they'll imagine very shortly start to go 2 by 2. As they do that, almost perfect timed. We're about to go racing for 1 hour of Silverstone, round 5 of the OVRC GT3 Series. One more to go after this. Head through the chicane. And we'll have the inside line going to turn 1, which is an interesting corner here at Suzuka. But obviously, with the wet weather, might make it quite tricky. He's obviously off the line for starting, but the track is thoroughly soaked, so that shouldn't make much of a difference, if any at all. Head towards the starting line now. You can probably see the lights on stream. As we are about to go racing.
Green light, green light.
And there's the
Go.
green light. And everyone is underway. Good start by all the top 4 as Mawson slots into P3. We'll have to go around the long way around. Lila slots in behind Janssen. And Nygaard will retain his position back from Mawson. Meanwhile, behind, Sebastian Brun has managed to get past Falkenstein off the start there. As Daly's also managed to jump up to P9. A few people making a few early moves. As with all the yellow flag out of Daly, so Daly's gone off at Dunlop, it looks like. It's back underway, not sure what happened there, why he wasn't turned around. Turned around, he was sort of off, he just caused the yellow flags.
Have a replay. Looks like he just spun it on his own.
As he pulls off at the Gagners as well, so struggling a bit. After gaining 2 positions off the start, he's gone off twice in the first lap. Struggling a bit in the wet conditions. As the gaps have already opened up. Half a second between Alida and Janssen off the start there. So far, everyone has managed to get round. They lost a bit of time there. But he's still there. He can still have a go. Brunier dropping a bit back from Mawson. The top 4 somewhat breaking away a tiny bit. We head down and complete the first lap. Dropping back and letting it. Falkenstein's closed up to Brunier, so obviously Falkenstein lost a position off the start there. As Nygaard was closed right up on the back of Alida, so Alida struggling a tiny bit. Last few corners, lost a bunch of time. It is last lap. Apparently Butler's the fastest lap so far. Obviously, the first lap's a bit hard to call. Timing line's a bit out of the wrong position.
On board with Nygaard, who is in a bit of a sandwich right now.
Yeah, he's stuck between Alida and Mawson. Alida getting a good exit out of the hairpin. Gap to Alida and Janssen is almost at 2 seconds already. Goes a bit down on the exit there of Spoon. That gap has definitely opened up. Behind Mawson's obviously is Sebastian Brunner, who's 2 seconds behind. So, a little bit wide there by Nygaard. One for the R. Too much of an issue. So second lap down, Thomas Johnson the fastest time of a 2 minutes 12.4. As you're going to see, the gaps between cars is blowing quite big. It goes, from nearly 2 seconds to 1.2. So the nature of the track being wet, people being quicker in some parts than others, and lacking consistency compared to having a dry circuit will be affecting some people.
Mawson's going side by side with Nygaard.
Into the Degners, this is where you keep it going a bit wide there. Nygaard will slot him back ahead for the second one. They'll be going alongside each other up the hill now. Also with a better exit. A bit of a squeeze, but they'll try to go a long way around the hairpin. Nygaard taking the inside and bending it so far, but Mawson's still right up behind, back. Heading towards Spoon again. Defensive line. This defensive driving is costing him time to Elida, so Elida will be happy, I imagine, with all this fighting going on, but Nygaard keeps P2 for now. Down to 130R. Will Mawson try and look for a move here? Decides against it. Probably a smart move right now. Realistically, not enough traction to really try and stick a move down the inside there. Nygaard goes deep at the chicane and will have a slow exit now. Nygaard will Mawson will power around the outside of him and take P3 from Nygaard. So, little mistake there. Easy mistake to make, especially in these conditions. That's costing him position. But does he have enough pace to keep up with Mawson? And can he retake the position back? Will have allowed Sebastian the focus line to close up a tiny bit. And in a second now. As I head up the S's. Elias yet to set a valid time from what the.
Oh yeah, he has no best lap yet.
He's yet to set a valid time.
So he's clearly struggling to keep it on track. Hopefully, not bad enough to earn a penalty.
I think last time we raced Suzuka, someone did get a penalty. Like the leader got a penalty for track limits reasons. Yeah, the current deltas are. But if you know a lie there, well, a lot of them mostly in the negatives. A few little improvements here. Mawson 5/10 up on his best. Sam Williams 6/10 up. A few people are making the most of the clean air they currently have to try and close gaps. We're out of valid time from Elias, but hard to judge how far he's off the line now. There's a time for Lila now, 12.2, which is his best, which was his last lap, and Jansen's best lap was the same lap, and his 2 tenths quicker. The advantage still in Jansen's hands. Still a long way to go. A yellow flag of James Butler on the side of the road.
There's a little replay of what happened there. He is going down the start-finish straight and pulls off to the side of the track. I'm guessing it's probably some kind of technical issue then.
I hope so. Not as a good thing, but he's not another reason. Technical issues at least are fairly explainable. Yeah, he was currently running P10 at the time, and it promotes Daly up into his spot. The light is closing the gap a tiny bit at this lap, looks like. As Mawson is definitely on the move as well to try and close the gap as well. Nygaard's actually somewhat keeping up with him as well, so those two possibly trying to close the gap to the top two.
Balkenstein going very close to Brunier.
Nygaard shot off at the turn one then, kept the car going, lost a bit of time, but he misjudged the braking a bit into the corner. Jose trying to close down on Sebastian. Someone's also trying to close down on his teammate of Cabal, who's behind these two. Looking in the top four, actually having slower laps this time, so getting a bit more this lap. He's leaving a quarter of the race completed, so possibly a bit of tyre wear starting to play into effect. I don't know how sensitive the tyres are in wet conditions in ACC, honestly. So I couldn't tell you how much they're starting to cool them down and the likes. And in real life, they obviously have to sometimes dive off the track to cool them down, but still not really a dry line forming. Not quite enough cars to really cause one of those to happen, so I don't really think it'll be much of an issue. I think it's just to be a general case of tyre wear. the gap to the lead has closed down a bit now. Was struggling a tiny bit as that. Back off, it counts as one corner being a bit slower. Still trying to close down the gap to these two as much as possible. About to start lap 7. They're definitely struggling out there. As Glenningen, a yellow flag at 130 yard, possibly a spin. Looks to be no damage on the car.
Let's have a replay of Glenning. She heads into the corner and has a spin. Keeps it somewhat under control though. Doesn't go off into the barrier, so no damage. And he gets back underway. And that will have cost him a lot of time though.
Yeah, he has dropped 9 seconds behind, 9 seconds behind Sam Williams. So focus, I still keep somewhat pursuit of Sebastian. Something a bit deep as Spoon. Yeah, similar thing to what happened to Nygaard. It's not the end of the world, it's just lose a bit of time. And Williams has also closed the gap down to Cabal again. As Jansen's gone around at 130 as well, so he's dropping down. So Alida inherits the lead.
Oh, that's a weird spin. I think he went just a bit off the road there while going straight. I just got the tail end of it on the replay. That has cost him a bunch of positions.
He's down into P5. Alida inherits the lead right now. As Cabal heads off the turn 1 as well, so as Focus signs into the pit lane. The first of the pit stops. Yeah, what a weird spin for Jansen there. It's just these conditions are just show how tricky these conditions are. Small error can just seem to send the car completely offline.
Yeah, so now he's back down to 5th, so hopefully that will give us a bit of action as he tries to make his way through, back through the field.
Wolkenstein has completed his pit stop and got a stop and go 30 seconds for speeding in the pit lane, quite possibly. I believe that is the penalty for that.
Yeah, I believe so. as Williams goes wide. While he's trying to chase down Corbel. As Jensen is already forming a gap to them, as expected.
Like a quick lap though for Jansen right now. So possibly being a bit cautious. Gets a bit loose again, not through 130 on the curb, so I was obviously not completely happy by using that curb right now. Wet curbs are never a great combination. Obviously his current objective is to try and close the gap as much as possible and see if he can do anything in the pit stops. As Daly's entered the pit lane now, so that'll be the second of our pit stops.
So Jensen goes wide. Doesn't seem to cost him too much time, but that's definitely not what you want to do.
Be pushing a bit right now to try and make up lost time. Falkenstein looks to be entering the pit lane as well to serve the stop and go 30. Unfortunately, will ruin their race with Sebastian. It's 30 seconds, another pit stop and 30 seconds is not exactly a short amount of time to be in the pit lane.
Yeah, as Jordan Daly gets back underway.
You're taking her at P9. And no, keep P9. That's what we're saying is back underway again. And cleared his penalty.
As Williams and Corbel are both pulling into their pit lane at the same time.
Those two are racing each other. And they'll race each other in the pit lane.
Jensen's still trying to catch up to Bernier. Hopefully you can get a clean lap in this time around. Looking quick so far.
He has closed the gap quite a bit to Bernier right now. As both Cabal and Williams get underway, the order stays the same as they entered the pit lane, so no change of position there, as their fight looks to continue on.
So Corbel runs wide, and they go side by side. And Cabell runs wide again.
He goes into the key there. I was wrong to say that. As, yes, loses position to Williams. Williams moves up to P7. Will you be able to keep that as they get very close to each other just for the hairpin there? More to lock up from Cabal. It looks like to avoid hitting the back. Williams is Aston Martin. Cabal takes a slightly deep line through the exit there, so possibly struggling a tiny bit after those pit stops. A bit of a scruffy lap now for Cabal. And he closed the gap now on the chicane. Gains a lot of ground. Jansen's closing the back of Falkenstein, who is effectively a lap down. Will be receiving blue flags, so you will know that the car behind is not full position. And hopefully that gets through. He does so, pulls out off the racing line. And Jansen's pulls ahead. Now Jansen's a clear shot at Sebastian Brunier. He can kind of make his way back up the order for the positions he's lost. As Elias is on lap 12 right now and has extended his lead to 2.5 seconds over Mawson. Mawson not quite being able to keep up right now.
As Cabell has lost a lot of time this lap, and the gap between him and Williams has increased by a lot.
Lap delta 13.8. According to the
although
tools.
Sam's gone 10 seconds slower this lap as well, so maybe they've had a bit of contact. I can't say at the moment.
It would explain it because they've dropped a lot of time to Groningen as well.
Yeah, they both lost time.
And Groningen wasn't too far away from them. Groningen's been struggling a tiny bit, so it's quite possible both of them had a little collision and that's cost them time. They were quite close earlier on. It's very possible that's happened.
So Cabell spins it.
Loses it at the S's.
What happened there? Oh, that's a very weird spin. And he has retired. That is Sam Williams on his own. Well, Sebastian Brunier is getting pretty close to the back of Jansen is getting pretty close to the back of Brunier.
I was very confused for a second. The fight for the lead. Not more. It's also the same story as it was a few laps ago. Mawson's still not quite quick enough to really catch a Lila. And Nygaard's dropping a bit behind as well. So. As we're halfway through the race now. Jansen has very much closed the gap to Sebastian, right on his tail. Looking around the long way, which will go to the inside for Spoon. Has to pull back out. Losing a bit of time out of all that in the end, so it has to.
Brunier's off.
Look away for 1 second. Brunier's off the track. He keeps going. I think he just about avoided the wall. As Elias in the pit lane now as well, so a few things has happened just now.
Yeah, cars just got unsettled somehow in a very weird way.
So Sebastian enters the pit lane. And Glenning now also enters the pit lane as well, so it's now realistically a race for the pit stops at this stage of the race. Lawson leads on lap 14.
Lila heads back out and rejoins the track in P4.
As does Glenning didn't do his mandatory stop.
Doesn't look like it.
As Sebastian has pulled out behind, so Glenning must have a very quick stop, or has forgot to change his tyres.
Yeah, you can he still has the one next to his Delta on the overlay.
Through. I wonder if he's just realised his mistake. Must have went for a fuel only and forgot to tick his tyres.
Yeah, that's a costly mistake. This means he's gonna have to pit again. As Ryan Mawson heads into the pit lane, as does Robert Nygaard.
Will Thomas Jansen? Yes, he does. So top three all in the pit lane now. That means that everyone but Glenningen now have done this. Will be doing their scheduled stop. Obviously, he stopped, but didn't actually take his tyres. So where does that mean Eli will pull out with the rest of them? Well, Jansen just gets to a stop now, so he will be realistically get past. Awesome, leading the queue as they came in.
So Lila heads onto the start-finish straight now.
As Mawson now gets underway. And now we'll pull out the pit lane and we'll pull out just ahead, but we have enough speed. The Liar's going to be shooting straight past right now. The Liar retains the lead just about. Mawson has closed the gap significantly.
It's just Johnson still in the pits now. As Timothy Gladdening heads into the pits again. To hopefully actually serve his tire change this time around.
Johnson's in the pit lane for quite a while.
Yeah, he's... That's a very long stop, I'm not sure why.
As he gets passed by Daly as well, so he is stopped for quite a while. There is a fight for the lead now between Mawson and Alila. Slowly pulling away from Mawson.
Johnson is now in last position, still in the pits.
Yeah, he hasn't left the pit lane yet. And we'll be soon a lap down, so... Still no movement yet for that car.
Yeah, still just sitting there.
As his teammate will now head down the pit lane now and lap him. So, Alila pulling the cap to the leader. Mawson definitely not keeping up with Alila right now. So, as all somewhat because of all this stuff's happened, is the gaps have all sort of spread out quite a bit this race. A lot of people just running in their own. Still no word on Jansen yet and why he's stationary in the pit lane.
I've had no updates from him on Discord or anything either.
Sorry, 20 minutes left on the clock. We're on lap 17 as Janssen has just disconnected from the session.
That's a real shame.
I don't know if it was a technical issue or something else going on, but yeah, he's no longer in the server.
Unfortunately, a bit of a dull race now, as it turns out. Of course, some of our high-profile drivers not being able to make it, and then Thomas Janssen having to leave for whatever reason.
Yeah, we still have clarification about if there's a reason for it, but yeah, Mawson not really being able to keep up with Elia at all, as Niger has dropped back quite a bit as well. Just over a quarter to go. Again, it's not a lot really going on, unfortunately. We're making our way around. Just over 15 minutes to go. The current order is Lila, Mawson, Nygaard, Brunio, Williams, Bailey, Falkenstein, and Groningen.
Yeah, we're just getting a report from Thomas Janssen in the YouTube chat. Apparently, ACC didn't automatically select new tires for his pit stops. Apparently that's a thing ACC does when it rains, and yeah, I assume that's the same thing that happened to Gladdening then.
See, like, obviously stops, so I'm guessing he just for some reason deselects them. We have a sure lot of ammunition today against ACC. I don't like going on to games and stuff and calling them bad, but like, why? It's clearly rain. You just put the wet tires on.
Yeah, it's game has a lot of weird quirks like that.
I mean, it's not. Honestly, the worst part today has been obviously my sophomores issue, where the game pack just won't load from in VR.
Yeah, that's the worst kind of thing that can happen when a game just doesn't launch and it doesn't even tell you why.
Hey, new content. You hyped for the new content?
It's fine. It's more cars.
More cars. Hey, at least you won't have to buy a track pack to watch them. I'm actually going to do something with the M2 or the Ferrari Cup or something like that once they're out. They actually release after the final race.
Yeah. So yeah, who knows? Maybe we can do something with them if we can get enough people.
We'll do races in the dry.
Seems like the gap between Olila and Mawson has actually closed a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like Mawson might be trying to close an line out.
So Lila just ran wide there. She's still struggling a little bit. We have about 10 minutes left in this race.
gap between the leaders has stabilised a bit. Under 10 minutes to go. And everything's somewhat stabilised a bit. Oh, I lied on that one.
Again. At the same place as last lap.
Yeah, a bit hot into there possibly, but it's not really cost him a lot of time in the end. Oh, loses it on the exit of 130R into the wall.
Ooh, that's a big one. Let's have another look at that. What exactly happened as he goes over the curb. Yeah, ran a bit wide there and then lost it. Maybe a bit too slippery on the outside of the track.
That's the third spin we had on 130, well, fourth, possibly, I think. Glenningen, Sebastian, Thomas, and now Elida. So definitely few there, as that allows a lot Mawson into the lead. There's a second lead change. It's third different lead of the race.
He has at least been able to retain his keep second.
Yep. So last couple more minutes, so he can't really pit.
Yeah, and he's losing a lot of time right now. He's 3.4 seconds down on his best lap. So that car does look very damaged, so that could get him into more trouble yet with Nygaard and potentially Brunier behind him.
Yep.
Nygaard will be trying to catch up.
He's closing in very quickly right now.
Yeah, Elias already lost 6 seconds this lap. That lap was 8 seconds slower than his best lap. You could see Nygaard in the background.
He is closing. Got 5 minutes to go, which is going to get 2 to 3 laps.
Yeah. Now Lila just has to survive right now. Drive to survive.
Oh, we're gonna get sued now by Netflix. Lawson extending his lead. Which is not surprising given the fact that Elias has got so much damage on that car from the looks of things.
Yeah, he's still struggling. And Nygaard is catching up quickly.
Question really for Eli, will Sebastian catch in time? I think Sebastian is a bit too far back right now.
Yeah, I think it's still too far for Sebastian. Lila is dropping a lot of time. But, I think if there was another lap or two more, then I think Sebastian could catch him, but looks like it's gonna be just about fine for Lila, at least when it comes to Bernier, because Nygaard is catching up.
There's going to be one more lap after this from the looks of things. I got floating right up now into the S's. Probably going to catch him into the hairpin. As he does let Nygaard through, so rather than fight it, just lets him past.
Yeah, it doesn't have much chance in fighting it anyway.
Sebastian is, I think, still a bit too far out, but we'll see.
Yep, as Mawson heads around the final corner to start the final lap.
Alright man, the leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
The final lap has been called.
So there's an 8-second gap between Olila and Bernier.
He's losing 7 seconds a lap, so he should just be fine. Granted, he makes no more errors.
Yeah, he'll definitely be glad this is the final lap. And here Bernier is going on and off and on and off the throttle.
And he he's just trying to keep the car going home at this point. A lot of people are in sort of survival mode. So, Mawson through 130R for one final time. Heading into the chicane. As he will win round 5. And be our newest winner of this season. The 4th winner. Across the line. Takes the checkered flag.
The leader has finished the race.
Next to cross the line will be Nygaard, who's heading to the chicane now. We'll get a P2. My God. Elida will manage to hold on to P2, 3. Sebastian at P4. Sebastian. Sebastian Williams through the final corner. Jordan Daly will be next after not qualifying. Will end up P6. Falkenstein will come home P7, and Glenningen, who's a bit further down the road, finished P8 after. I think a lot of people did struggle this race, honestly, in the conditions.
Yeah, it's definitely been a struggle. We've lost a few people as well. So not the most exciting race, unfortunately, as Glenningen makes one last error.
Decided to take the alternative layout of the chicane. And now across the line and finished P8 after having an issue with his pit stop. Honestly, what cost him his race. And that has been round 5. Mawson will take the win, followed by Nygaard Alaya, top 3. Brunier, Williams, Daly, Falkenstein, Glenningen are your top 8. Everyone else, unfortunately, has retired. And that, that has been round 5. A bit of a disappointing race, honestly.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but yeah, that's just what it's like sometimes. Especially when some of our high-profile drivers can't make it for various reasons.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so there are a few people watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream anyway. If you did, we would really appreciate it if you could click the like button and subscribe to the channel to catch our next round, which will be next week at Spa-Francorchamps.
It'll be dry.
It'll be F1 2021 conditions.
Yeah, I'm just going to make it very monsoon weather. It's going to be impossible to drive. It'll be good.
Yeah. So we'll see you next time.
Yep. So then, take care.
Goodbye.